Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, the Stellar Development Foundation and messaging service known as Keybase announced on Monday a 2 billion Stellar Lumens airdrop, the largest in Stellar's 5-year history, worth roughly 120 million US dollars. Over the next 20 months, Keybase users can expect monthly airdrops of 100 million lumens. Keybase currently has 300,000 active users across its various services. According to the company, they said, and I do quote, "All you have to do is have an authenticated Keybase account, and your lumens will appear in your wallet automatically every month for as long as airdrops continue. 3 months of airdrops are guaranteed," the company says, when the program's continuation beyond that dependent on hitting basic success metrics. Stellar Development Foundation CEO Danella Dixon tells CoinDesk that Keybase is a key part of its larger adoption strategy. She said, and I do quote, "The foundation's mandate is to deliver lumens into the world. This is part of the plan. The up to 2 billion is a really great way, and we will have checks along the way," end quote. Stellar and Keybase have worked together for quite some time, beginning in March 2018. Investment from a large Stellar fund to close Keybase's Series B funding round. Dixon said the airdrop is an investment not only in Keybase's users, but the kind of projects the company says upholds its vision. Keybase's 300,000 strong user base shares a lot in common with crypto. Cool. This was floating around all over the place. I think a lot of people, 2018 was a very big year for airdrops. We have not seen many of them at all. They just don't really, or not many of them have materialized, especially as we've gotten over the entire ICO craze, if you kind of want to say that. The numbers from Stellar, I always find myself personally to be quite fascinating. I see other coins, you know what I'm talking about, being spoken about more often than Lumens as far as what they plan on doing, i.e. The current circulating supply of Lumens is around 19.7 billion, with the total supply over 103 billion. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that the Stellar Foundation holds 80 billion of them, and it never really actually makes the news, and this is why they're able to airdrop 2 billion at one time. I guess more so, news like this is kind of fascinating because it's kind of, if you want to really look at it this way, it's kind of, I mean, not even kind of, it's free money. And I knew a lot of people, I still know them, but they're not active in that space anymore. As far as like the ICO and stuff like that, people used to, whenever there were airdrops or free coins that were kind of spread around, people used to gather these coins, obviously, and then sell them for larger cap coins, if I can put it to you that way. So there's no real estimation on exactly how many lumens each wallet will get, but we have seen before from other airdrops. I think one time there was an airdrop, and I think everyone got 5 of a coin, and other, like, you know, you end up getting around a good 45 cents, maybe a good, you know, $1.50 from an actual airdrop. I expect airdrops to kind of come back at some point. I think we're going to get into another period, maybe, where they become popular once again. However, like I said, airdrops have become very rare, especially in 2019. There aren't many of them, not like there were last year. Good times. Anyway, let's move on. There we go. Of course, Libra is always in the news. Social media giant known as Facebook, which is currently trying to get regulatory approval for its Libra stablecoin project, reportedly shared details regarding the project's proposed backing reserves. According to a report by Bloomberg on the 9th of September, Facebook told U.S. senators about the backing reserves for the stablecoin, a type of cryptocurrency valued by a reserve currency, commodity, or algorithm. Libra will reportedly be backed by several national currencies: US dollar, the euro, the Japanese yen, the British pound, and the Singapore dollar. However, the Chinese yuan may be excluded from the group of reserve assets, according to Bloomberg. Facebook reportedly produced the list of its backing assets as a result of an inquiry by Virginia Democratic Senator Mark Warner. The senator stated that China has been encouraging other governments to include its currency in their foreign currency reserve Holdings. In turn, Facebook purportedly responded by saying that any final determination regarding the backed currencies in the purview of the Libra Association, a consortium of various companies and interested parties, would be overseen by Libra's eventual development. They said, "We understand that the Libra Association will not offer the Libra digital currency in any jurisdiction until it has fully addressed regulatory concerns and received appropriate approvals in that jurisdiction." This is quite interesting. There was a lot of speculation before if the people from Facebook or the people from the Libra Association or behind Calibra, the wallet as well, would have backed the, how do you say this? Would have backed part of their coin that's supposed to be coming out by the US dollar. There was speculation that because they had decided to do this within Switzerland, that therefore that they were trying to simply circumvent any potential issue or power that the US dollar could have, even though the US dollar is by forced default the strongest paper currency that we have in the world right now. It's fascinating that they also decided to include this as well. Still no other word on exactly, they said that they also are backing Libra by, I think, government bonds and other funds and stuff like that as well. I assume we're not going to get an explicit list of exactly what these things are going to be as well. The other fascinating part is that they're not using, or rather, so they say thus far, that it's not going to also be backed by the Chinese yuan, which we've also been hearing about. I think it also has something down here as well about the actual creation of China's, I don't even want to say cryptocurrency, digital coin that they're trying to create within their own borders. And we had received news before that it's fairly unlikely that the people from Facebook are going to get to launch their coin within China, even though the people from China are trying to get other countries to use their digital token that has not yet even been released. I'm not part of these discussions, but I would speculate there's probably been a number of conferences and or meetings between anyone from Facebook going into China to have these discussions as if this could be a legal part of the Chinese system. As long as China has control over it, they're usually, or rather are always, kind of fine with it. But I assume we're going to get more information about this, obviously, as time rolls on. It's just about every single day, every other day, we're getting more information about exactly how this is going to be. It's a constant discussion on podcasts as well. For some reason, I thought it would not fizzle away, but I assumed it would make headlines, but not as much as it currently is, because the way that they're setting this up is, and especially the fact that you don't hear as many regulators, senators, congresspeople, what have you, so on and so forth, discussing their dislike for Libra anymore. It's either completely mute, or they're going around to different countries and figuring out exactly what they can do regulatory-wise. None of them are explicitly against it anymore. I don't know if you've realized that. I definitely have. There was a huge push against it, and now everyone's very silent, which leads me to believe not only is this going to launch, I think they already are in cahoots. They're already working with other countries to make sure that this goes off without a hitch, and that other countries simply, it would be, no, I don't think so. I was going to say it would be terrible if other countries started using Libra as a default from the get-go, but that won't happen as far as like their digital currency, because we see the creation of other stablecoins and other countries potentially, and also banks adopting these stablecoins. But I don't think anyone is, hopefully, not foolish enough to announce that they're going to be using Libra as their nation's coin. I don't think anybody's crazy enough to do that. But anyway, that's the Libra news for today. Next up, very fascinating, and I'll explain why. IBM has doubled the number of its employees on the technical steering committee of Hyperledger, stoking concerns about the tech giant's influence on the enterprise blockchain consortium. 6 out of the 11 2019 to 2020 TSC members announced last week are all IBM employees. 5 work at Big Blue itself, and 1, Mark Wagner, is a senior principal engineer at Red Hat, an IBM subsidiary. By comparison, the previous year's TSC had only 2 IBM representatives and the same number of total seats. Wagner served on the committee, but IBM's acquisition of Red Hat did not close until July 2019. The new committee will begin governing after the new TSC chair is elected next week. While IBM has long played a major role in Hyperledger, having contributed to the code for Fabric, the consortium's biggest and oldest project, the election results rattled some participants from rival firms. Todd Little, a blockchain platform architect at Oracle, wrote in a mailing list, and he said, "It is very clear that IBM now controls the TSC. This is the direction that Hyperledger wants to take. At stake is the direction of one of three most likely widely adopted enterprise blockchain platforms, the other being R3's Corda and variants of the Ethereum blockchain. The Hyperledger's TSC is responsible for creating working groups to focus on technical issues, approving projects, and reviewing updates." What is very fascinating, and this is what a lot of people, for some reason, rather in my opinion, a lot of people, especially if they're just relatively new getting into the cryptocurrency space, they don't understand the actual politics of what's happening behind the scenes. And this is why I mentioned, and I've mentioned it before, and I'll even say it again, I don't think that cryptocurrency is... I think that cryptocurrency is going to succeed. I think it's going to do incredibly well, and I think a lot of people aren't really paying attention to the things that are right in front of them. What we have right now is a power struggle. You might not see it, but I can see the grasp of power moving from side to side. The world that is going to be created, that is currently being formed around us, is a completely digital world. We are going to have a world where everything of value can be digitized. Video games items can be transferred from this part of the world to another on a blockchain. Cars, self-driving, everything. We're going to live in a very digital world. We would have things where it is widely believed that digital land is also going to become very expensive as well. If you can even put that into your head. Think of the idea of a game where you can buy land and that's worth something. So, in this movement towards a more digital world, more digitized, completely digital world, we have people who want to be in control of this. And the people who want to be in control of this are the people who are already at the top of the ladder. And they're making sure that they stay in this spot. And this is why I keep saying to make sure that you pay attention to exactly what's in the news and what we're seeing. Like, this isn't the first time that we've heard something like this. This isn't the first video that I'm making. This isn't the first time that we've spoken about I don't even want to say power struggles, but rather dare I even say the word centralization of power. And this isn't me talking negatively about IBM or talking about they shouldn't hold 6 of the 11 seats. It's more like just pay attention to everything that's slowly happening. We had news a couple of days ago. It says Ethereum to join Hyperledger Consortium as first public blockchain. This one also is the actual IBM website. And if you really dig through it, especially if you even go back to the information that we had before about IBM using, or rather, using is a strong word, partnering with Stellar and using the Stellar blockchain, there's a very interesting... It's very difficult for me to even put it into words, but I guess I'll try my best. We have a couple of corners that are rapidly developing. We have governments who are trying to create their own currencies, or rather digitize the currencies that they currently have. We have businesses like Facebook and many others, I'm sure, out there as well, who are also trying to make sure that while they remain a mega company, conglomerate corporation, that they also create their own world currencies as well, which is something completely insane to think about. In the same exact boat, while a lot of people do believe that Bitcoin is going to be the end all for the cryptocurrency market, we have a number of investors who got into the cryptocurrency space after Bitcoin had already been created, and they didn't really care about Bitcoin. And we were talking about this many other times before, as far as I think the CEO of Coinbase, door just slammed. The CEO of Coinbase had mentioned a couple of times before in 2018 that I think he actually believed more in Ethereum than he actually did in Bitcoin. And not that it was weird to me, but it was more like Bitcoin is usually the name of the game. And now we have mega players getting behind other blockchains, and also it's just a really, I could ramble on for hours about this, and I'm trying to make it short and sweet, but it's so, everything is so interwoven, and it's very, very obvious at this point exactly what's going to happen, especially for those of you who don't know. IBM is also, or has created something called WorldWire, which is pretty much imagine like the current banking system, like, Swift and this and that and so and so and so. They're trying to make their own blockchain payment system for the entire world. where cryptocurrencies can run on top of them, banks can create their own stable coins, and this can happen, so and so, but they're just doing it on their own platform. I don't think, and I mean this as honestly as possible, within the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to be blatantly obvious exactly which coins have made it or are going to continue to make it. And I don't mean explicitly Bitcoin, I don't mean Ethereum, I don't mean Lumens, I don't mean so-and-so, but there's something there's something happening behind the scenes that I think a lot of people just aren't really paying attention to. I'm fairly certain the amount of money that's flowing within the cryptocurrency ecosystem is just flowing to a couple of coins. This is why, like I said, regardless of what problems, issues Ethereum might be having, it's still, I'm actually do apologize for all the stumbling, but it's something's happening, and it's so clear that I can't even really put it into words. I guess the long and short of it is, IBM and a number of other companies and corporations, I think, are going to be the new world leaders in finance. It's shaping right before us, and this is why I think everyone else has to kind of really catch up. I'm expecting by the end of this year to hear a lot of news from other companies and corporations who are also going to be creating their own cryptocurrencies, whether it be, well, I guess eBay and PayPal are kind of in the Libra pool, but other names as well, Amazon, Apple, they're going to have to at some point announce this as well, because what's happening is that between IBM, between Grayscale, between Fidelity, between the New York Stock Exchange, all the major names who are already the highest of the highest within the cryptocurrency space, they're accumulating massive amounts of cryptocurrencies right in front of everyone's eyes, and they're also getting control of the, what's the word? Like board member seats and stuff like that. It's the same exact thing for like the board member of like Ripple. It's just tons of regulators from like 1 or 2 different countries, or it's like other banks and other so-and-so who are also buying up these huge things, and they become the entire network. They become the brand new payment system. So as much as it would be nice for us to have a truly, I don't want to say a not open payment system, it's going to kind of just shift over to other companies that are going to just have it run on blockchain, if that kind of makes any sense. I don't know if I'm even making any sense myself to anyone out there, but the amount of news that we're getting about all of these things between, pay attention to this, between IBM, Hyperledger, R3 Corda, they're pretty much comprising what I think the future of global payments are going to be. I think the world, and even to another extent, even Bitcoin, is also, you can slam it right in the center of all of this. The news that we've had before from other companies and corporations who are getting into the cryptocurrency space, who are in the cryptocurrency space, they tend to all focus on Bitcoin. And what I think is going to happen before, like I mentioned before, and we were talking about it in another video, as far as the actual back end usage of XRP, I think a lot of companies and corporations aren't thrilled and comfortable with actually the usage of digital assets. So what I think is going to transpire is that a lot of these things are simply going to run behind the scenes. And I dare not even say predicting a future. I think we're going to have a future relatively soon in the next couple of years where world payments are flowing through Hyperledger, through R3, through this, through that. But the back end, so you may transact in US dollars, you may transact in this, you may even transact in a stable coin, but behind the scenes, the actual method of payment that is going to be taking place is going to be running through XRP, more or less, especially with WorldWire. It's going to be running on top of Stellar. Ethereum is going to be, I predict, updated hopefully within the next 2 years. This is what I keep saying, like even with Ethereum not being upgraded, it's still constantly being integrated and interwoven into other systems, which leads me to believe that at some point it's going to be upgraded. And especially when we get all the news, like we get so much news about whales gathering up Bitcoin and these other coins. They're also doing the exact same thing for Ether, because Ether is once again supposed to be the actual new internet. So I think that behind the scenes, the actual flow of payments, and I could even, what's even crazier? I think that the new internet will be roughly, if not, I don't want to say completely, nothing can be 100% complete, is going to run on top of an upgraded Ethereum where these payments are going to flow through. I can see it all happening, and I apologize in some sort of way for having spent so much time on this, but it's way too obvious. The integration and the usage of Ethereum by companies and institutions who are constantly realizing, I'm pretty sure they're having discussions about how slow Ether and Ethereum actually is, but there's still too much money being pushed into it, or rather too much. It's not even hope. It's like knowledge that it's going to succeed. Will all be flowing through these things, and they're all going to be completely interwoven and interconnected. And this is what I don't think that all the coins that are flowing around are going to make it. I know that we've entered into a mimic of 2017, because I read the comments and I see people once again talking about people should buy this coin. You should buy this coin. This coin is so good. How does no one have this coin? You're doing a disservice. You should be talking about this coin. And I'm like, it's the exact same thing that happened in 2017. These coins aren't going to make it. They're already flushed out of the market, and this is why I think myself personally, why we keep seeing so many people talking about a lot of coins in the comment section or anywhere else. I'm pretty sure you've seen them as well, about coins that just don't matter, that are never going to make it. These coins are never, ever going to be as big as Bitcoin, XRP, or Ether. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, please, by all means, continue telling other people to buy scam coins. In the comment section. I'm sure listeners at this point are smart enough to know exactly which coins they should be holding. But I guess to finish it off, I should have actually made this its own video, because I see exactly in my vision which coins are going to make it. And I assume as the years go on, we will have new coins. There will always be new coins. There's always a new coin that says that I'm better, faster, stronger, and more powerful than this. I can do this many transactions per second. I'm being integrated with this. I'm being so and so and so. Like a couple of years ago, no one thought that there would be a coin called Binance coin that would be as strong as it is right now. But lo and behold, it kind of is what it is. Anyway, I think we're going to have very clear indications relatively soon of about 10 coins that are not going to go anywhere. And then everything else I think will be flushed out. All that money will flow into these other 10 coins as the years go on, and the new coins will appear as new companies are built and what have you, so on and so forth. It's very, very fascinating. And this all comes from this idea that IBM controlling the majority of the seats on Hyperledger leads me to believe that obviously one would assume that they're going to do so in their best interest. They're probably not going to be like, okay, let's integrate Bitcoin Diamond, guys. We did it. No, they're probably going to integrate their own systems and make sure that everything is running on their own systems, or that Stellar potentially has a dominant role in what's being created. This is just how I interpret things, at least in my eyes. To kind of finish things off, consumer electronics giant known as LG may be looking to launch its own blockchain smartphone. A report earlier today from Korean media outlet Chonsun said LG is likely to respond to Samsung's innovation initiative. There we go, same thing. A major brand competitor. In the report, Chonsun further claimed LG is having difficulty separating a potential blockchain phone from Samsung's previous releases. Earlier this year, Samsung released its Galaxy S10 in multiple models, complete with its blockchain key store. There we go. This S10 is fully compatible with ERC20 tokens, dApps, and recently Bitcoin. Like I said, it's also very weird that behind the scenes, major companies and corporations are creating blockchain phones. That's not the weird part, but that they're making sure that Ethereum and ERC20 tokens are the first things that are compatible with the phone. Why would they be doing that? Like I said, it fits all into this. I have a feeling we can't even begin to believe the plans that these people have for these cryptocurrencies and exactly where they're going to go in the future. They said LG has been struggling to apply blockchain to smartphones with any dissimilarity. I think Samsung is trying to prepare differently in the blockchain field, just as LG responded with the dual screen. With the Samsung Galaxy came out with a foldable phone. Cool, who cares? Yeah, they're going to have to do this eventually. At some point, it is widely believed or speculated the same exact way that no one's using those big clunky phones from like 1992 with the antenna that you had to pull up, in the same way that not many people, I'm sure there's one or two out there, using like the old Nokia phones, like the old brick phones that you charge once and the charge lasts for about a good 17 days. Not many people or no one really is using those anymore. And now everyone has a smartphone, more or less. The idea is that in the future, blockchain will be the standard for just about everything that's happening on the internet. And therefore, everyone's going to have a blockchain phone at some point in the future, which is kind of nice, especially if you, rather when we get more permissionless blockchain phones and things are running on Ethereum, and you have a private phone as your own that you can do what you wish, how you want, when you want, without anyone being able to see or say negatively about what you're doing. It's kind of fascinating. I think it's very interesting, the world that we're moving towards. I imagine that a lot of people don't really get it yet, I think. Once again, if you ever have time, watch a documentary, watch something about the future. Not the really scary ones, like where they try to scare you when they talk about automation and they show like people living on the street and, really sad, like the loss of jobs. I mean, as far as like exactly what technology is going to do for us, exactly where it's going to go, what these new developments mean for the future of people, technology, healthcare, all these things. I find it always very fascinating. But yeah, this is now another mega company who's talking about creating their own blockchain phone. This I think correlates to it as well. If we end up getting to a Bitcoin price of $25,000 by the end of this year, once again, the price hype mania back into the market, you can expect that by the end of this year as well, we're going to have at least 5 more companies coming forward talking about their blockchain phones, because nobody wants to miss the hype, if you will. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Adam Graysick, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Woody and Daisy, Triple M and J, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mill Wheezy, JR Mechanic, Strange Radio Central, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Cryptopolis, Nicholas Runner with One Piece, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich the Third, Vlad the Impaler, Krypton Beer Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Chest Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, and yes to crypto. Thank you all very, very much for your support. The cryptocurrency market at present is not making much sense at all. Just before, I'm not even joking, starting the video, I looked at the prices, and Tether was going down, like dramatically down. And the prices of every single cryptocurrency, at least within the top 10, were relatively moving up. For some reason, Tether's now dramatically pushing upwards. It's very weird charts. And depending on where you look, and I'll give you a little secret. Nobody knows what's going on. Regardless of who you listen to, where you get your information from, whoever talks about the cryptocurrency market, technical analysis, technical this, technical that. I should have made a video. I should maybe still even make one of all the predictions that I get in a day. And I call them predictions because they usually don't end up coming true. Like if you accurately say something is going to happen, then you are a psychic. However, what ends up happening is that about 14 different sources every single day talk about where the cryptocurrency market is going to go, whether it be tomorrow, a week, a month from now, and they're usually all incorrect. Why? Because the cryptocurrency market makes no sense, regardless of when we get good news or incredibly bad news. If we get bad news, sometimes the crypto market goes up. If we get very good news, Bitcoin's price will go down about 3%, and everyone kind of stands there looking around like, why? Nothing that's been happening within the cryptocurrency space over the last couple of months has made any sense, except for the fact that Bitcoin's price has gone up. Bitcoin was already undervalued. The price was being pushed down. We get that. Got it. Good. So Bitcoin over 10,000 makes sense. The fact that we've received an enormous amount of good news from many other coins, projects, updates, rewards getting cut in half, this, so on and so forth, and the prices still continue to go down. Like I get it. That not every coin is going to go up or should be going up. That much is clear. However, there are definitely a couple of coins who are going to be doing great things within the next couple of years, and I think that the market just simply isn't paying attention. I think normal people aren't paying attention. I think a lot of people just simply don't. I think people just don't know, and I think that's one of the excitingly frustrating parts of the entire cryptocurrency space. Is that no matter what you think is going to happen, it usually never actually ends up taking place. And then you look back 8 months later and you're surprised at how far that we've come, where we are now, but you look back at the road and you realize it was just a complete zigzag because we assumed the entire time that it would just be a straight line. Nope, that is not how cryptocurrency or even life works. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening. Wherever you are, wherever you might be. What is that? Still there. Wherever you are, maybe you might be. Hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. I wonder about all of this. I wish we had more information, and the worst part is that we won't get ever explicit information as to what all the plans were. That's the part that drives me craziest the most, is that if we just had answers, and this goes for many other coins as well, like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I can name about 5 coins right now. There's constantly so much speculation and stuff happening behind the scenes, or exactly what's going to happen and when this upgrade is going to happen and when this is going to be launched. And it's always like a hold your breath game in the cryptocurrency space. Thank you all once again for watching and listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.